Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in once again to another episode of Ralston Speaks, brought to you by the Unific Brotherhood. Now, as we know, the murderer of George Floyd, Derek Chauvin, has been found guilty on all counts. His sentencing is to take place within between 6 and 8 weeks. Now, although it's a good thing he was found guilty, it brings to question, first of all, how you found a jury that had heard nothing of this case. Well, be that as it may, we still don't know whether or not the jury uh, found him guilty. We all know he was actually guilty, but did the jury actually find him guilty and convict him because he was actually guilty, or for fear of retribution and retaliation from the world community if they had found him innocent or not guilty of these charges? Be that as it may, Derek Chauvin is guilty, and we are overjoyed with the outcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today I spoke with one of our strong brothers out of Florida, and he brought an interesting topic to my attention. Now, let me backtrack for a minute. We of the Unific Nation, we have the best interests of our people at heart. We honestly do, ladies and gentlemen, 100%. We wake up, eat, sleep, and go to bed at night with our people in our minds and consciousness. But ladies and gentlemen, we can't. Sometimes things pass over our head. Sometimes subject matter uh, flies by and goes to the wayside. Well, this strong brother from Florida brought something very interesting to my attention. Now, we do have justice for the murder, ladies and gentlemen, of George Floyd, but there are countless other African American men and women who have succumbed and died, been murdered and killed and brutalized by the law enforcement community in our country. And what happened? This young brother asked me today, what happened to those officers? What happened to those cases? What was the outcome of those investigation? These internal police investigations. Now we do know, ladies and gentlemen, that police departments across the nation launch investigations, and they most of the investigations are internal, and 75% of these investigations, they investigated themselves and find themselves innocent or no untoward behavior or circumstances took place because they investigated themselves. But even if there were external investigations, what was the outcome of those investigations? Well, this young brother brought up a very valid point. Ladies and gentlemen, I got home after speaking with this young brother and having some family time. I compiled a list. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this list is well over 100 names. Well over 100 names. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, all grandmothers, grandfathers, all died by the hands of law enforcement in the United States of America. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these over 100 names I have compiled, I've broken them down in blocks of 10. And myself and the Unific Brotherhood will launch our own investigation. First of all, we will determine if there's an investigation still ongoing, or if these so-called investigations have gone by the way of cold case files, people who've been murdered in years gone by, and the investigation has gone cold, and basically the police have stopped looking. Well, these are names, ladies and gentlemen, that the police don't want to investigate. They don't want to hold their own accountable and found guilty or innocent. Why is that? It's because, ladies and gentlemen, Black lives still do not matter. Now, just George Floyd verdict, we are almost certain that it was fear of retaliation that mainly brought this guilty verdict. Sad to say that, but ladies and gentlemen, we all know that if Derek Chauvin had been exonerated or declared not guilty, the world would have responded, and the publicity, the violence, the protests would in no way equaled the protest when he was first murdered. So be that as it may, I have broken down these names in blocks of 10. I will say their names and their ages. And in videos to come, I will investigate and report to my viewing audience the outcomes or the progress or no progress of these internal police investigations. The first name is Dante Wright, 20 years old. Rayshard Brooks, 27. Daniel Prude, 41. Breonna Taylor, 26. Tatiana Jefferson, 28. Ora Rawson, 40. Stephen Clark, 22. Bothan Jean, 26. Philand Castile, 32. And last but not least of my first 10 block, Alton Sterling, 37. Now, these are men and women of our communities, someone's brother, sister, aunt, uncle, father, or mother, whose life was cut short because the police seem to have a policy that the only good nigger is a dead nigger. Now, as I was talking to this young brother from Florida today, we spoke at length, and we both did agree that although it is admitted that the police do have a hard job, but they seem to go out of their way when the suspect or someone with police contact that they're involved with is white. Whereas if the suspect or person whom they have police contact with is black, the treatment is 180-degree difference. We spoke at length on the killer of the Charleston Nine, whom was apprehended safely and intact, provided with a bulletproof vest, and given Burger King on his way to jail. Black men and women aren't afforded this opportunity because they never make it past police contact. So, ladies and gentlemen, this George Floyd, Derek Chauvin verdict, although good, is in no way a salve to end or appease our anger. This is often we have been given bones, thrown a few treats to appease us. That has been happening since slave days, giving good scraps off Massa's table so that we could rejoice. Massa love me. He done give me the chitlins off the hog. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as days gone by when we made the best of the scraps off of Massa's table, we will not accept the scraps anymore. We made the best of the chitlin, the maw, the tail, the foot, the ears, the nose, and the snout, while the Massa ate the chop, the bacon, and the ham. We have come too far, worked too hard to accept the scraps of the judicial system or the economic inhibitions that have been imposed on us. Ladies and gentlemen, no more. The time is finished where we will be happy or satisfied with the scraps thrown to us from Massa's table. And for my viewers that oppose my broadcasts and say that I preach hate and encourage unrest and revolt, ladies and gentlemen, Denzel Washington once said that does the sheep preach hate for protesting being bitten by the wolf? Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we are not sheep. We are the lions. And we all know how a wolf would fare when brought up against a lion. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ralston. Stay tuned as I update my king and queen community on the outcome of Dante Wright, Rashad Brooks, Daniel Prude, Breonna Taylor, Atatiana Jefferson, Ora Posen, Stephen Clark, Bothan Jean, Philin Castile, and Alton Sterling. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening.